Good evening, folks. I see you're starting to come in, and welcome. So we'll be starting in a few minutes, and we will see how many people join us tonight. I'm Frank. I'll be one of the hosts tonight. Welcome. We got about 9 minutes. I was just setting up, making sure everything worked. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Food Talk TV. Hey, everybody, welcome. We're going to start about 5 o'clock my time, so we've got a few minutes. Time to get your stuff together. If I see any folks, some of our Food Talk people will also jump in, and usually we have one or two of them joining us. So, welcome. I see a few people have started to watch. Feel free to say hello, introduce yourself. If you got questions, always send them through the chat. Uh, and if I'm on myself tonight, if I'm by myself, of course, then I may have to repeat. But usually we have one of the Food Talk TV folks here, and they're always helpful to recap. And yeah, so this will be a new one. I'm going to try and do three different recipes, maybe four, kind of from start to finish. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. As usual, you'll hear us tell you if you're new to live, we love your feedback. We love hearing what you have to say with your questions. Tap your screens. We love the love. So the more often that you tap and it shares it out, the better it is. Other than that, we just really enjoy being here every Sunday night. So welcome in. Part of my side view, I'm going to be checking the camera so I can actually see what I'm seeing to make sure if you can actually see what I'm doing, which is always important. So I try to keep that there. You don't need to see as much as me, as much as I want you to see what I'm up to. There you go. I think that'll work. All right. I think that works out nicely. All right, everybody, welcome aboard. Got about 5 minutes. Thank you. Can you tell I teach online? It feels like this is exactly how I open every class. My name's Frank Strona, and of course, I have my own TikTok account. But when I'm on this TikTok account, Food Talk TV, we're part of a wide assortment of creators who just decided a year or so ago that we all have different passion for food, and we wanted to share it. We wanted people to make it accessible. We wanted people to feel like they could make dishes, that they could change dishes, they could actually have fun with all of this. And that's what we really do. That's a big part of what we're trying to do every time we all get together. So we have a couple of our projects that we do. So every Sunday night, one of us is here. It could be Kaz, it could be that's Cooking with Kaz, it could be C3, who is just she was on last week. She's just a scream, but she's so clever. We have Sherry Skinner. We have Andrea, hopefully, will be coming on this week. We also have Christine. We have Erica. So, all of these, I'll remind you of all your accounts to follow a little bit later. And you can follow all of us. You can follow just this account. We all do our own stuff external to here. But we are here every Sunday for a live. We also, Cooking with Kaz and C3, who Desiree has a weekly cooking club, although it's canceled this week because we're going to be doing something special all week. On Wednesdays that you can participate in, you can find out all of our information always on our website as well, foodtalktv.com. And Andrea heads up Gluten Free Mama, hands up all of our socials and our social media accounts, so you can find us. My personal account is Frank underscore mentor SF. So my consulting business is called Mentor SF, and when I started my TikTok account, I had no idea what craziness I would manage, so I use Frank underscore Mentor SF. I have a mixed account. I go from a wide range of content, including food. So some of my other, thank you. I see that. Thanks for adding that, please. A lot of our other creators do primarily food and entertainment, but I'm sort of, I don't know, all over the map. Maybe some people call it a renaissance, but mostly I like to have fun. But I do, and I did grow up cooking, so it's a big thing for me to be able to share because so many people think food and cooking is only accessible to professional chefs. I'm not. I grew up in the kitchens. My parents cooked. As a matter of fact, the closest I ever came was working as a short order cook my way through college. I did some third chef work in a French restaurant, but that was it. It's a lot of hard work, and I am always thrilled when I see professional chefs visit us and um, give us hints and examples. But sometimes in a professional kitchen, you would do things one way. In a private kitchen, you might do it a little different. So sometimes you'll hear me do hacks and alternatives, and quite frankly, the biggest thing if you take away from any of my versions is if you don't like an ingredient, I'll bet you there's a substitution that's equally as good and it will still get you the taste, the texture, somewhat. So like I know one of our creators is not a big fan of nutmeg. I'm going to use nutmeg at least once today, but you could take it out. It wouldn't be a huge issue. Hi, everybody. I don't know if I have any of my other folks in yet, but if anybody wants to come live from the Food Talk folks and I don't see you, please feel free and I will definitely, whoops, I hit my screen. I will definitely add you so that you can jump in the box. Otherwise, I see we have moderators in the room. Cooking with Cowboy, thank you. Much appreciated. It's always nice to have a moderator just in case. So what are we cooking tonight? So it's our Sunday night live. So first things I do before I forget, sorry, that's the little four-legged boss. He decided to sit in the kitchen with me. Um, we are doing a special promotion all week. So every day, starting today through next Sunday, we're going to do one live. If you'll be able to check out the times. I don't know what times yet, but they'll be on the website under our blog in the kitchen. And each creator is going to be doing something that is Mother's Day um, inspired. It is something could be at a Mother's Day brunch. It could be something for a dinner. Some will be some really fun things to do. And each of us is doing one. So I'm sort of kicking it off since I was already going to do live tonight. A lot of the dishes I am going to do tonight would be great for a Mother's Day meal or a brunch or just something to say thank you to your mom. Now, I do want to say one thing. When I say mother, that is a very wide definition. We totally feel that when we say mother, we mean grandmothers, we mean single male identified parents who are maybe dads. So we are not all in relationships with our mothers of birth. Some of us have mothers of choice. Some of us have adopted mothers. Some of us live with our grandmothers. Some of us are in experiences we don't have a mother contact, but we've identified other people. So we recognize that all of these folks are people that we would want to recognize as the mother role. Same thing we do with Father's Day. So if you hear me say mother, it doesn't necessarily mean your biological mother. It could mean any combinations of that. But I wanted to put that out there. It's really important for me to recognize that family is not just the way you are born. Family is how we come together, how we exist together, how we love, how we cry, how we share. And I think while Mother's Day is really important to recognize the people who bring us forward, sometimes that changes from birth through your life. So that's sort of my frame for this week. I'm going to be doing today and sort of the handoff, and we'll have a full schedule. As a matter of fact, I have the schedule handy. Um, Sherry, welcome. Sherry's jumped in the box with me tonight. She is going to kick off on Monday. We've got C3. Desiree is on Tuesday. Then we've got Just Like Granny, who is our international partner in this, will be coming in from Sweden on Wednesday. Cooking with Kaz is Thursday. October Dragonfly will come in on Friday. Andrea, who's doing a special live for us, Gluten Free Mama, will come in on um, Saturday. And then it's a surprise on Sunday, what we're going to do yet. We're going to do a special edition, but we don't know what. I'm working on that now. So, hello, everybody. Um, Sherry, what's cooking? What's going on? It's good to see you.
I just hit 1 million on one of my TikToks.
Which one?
Just my 4-layer delight.
Oh man, I was thinking of you this morning because I made Molly Ye did a layered cookie for Passover that's dairy free. I liked it so much, and it's kind of like a dairy free Congo bar with dried fruit and sugar free chocolate that I've now made it about 7 different times, and I've tried it with matzo meal base, graham cracker base, almond ground almond base, and I'm like, oh, these layered desserts are still great. And I saw your 1 million TikTok the other day. As a matter of fact, it has now added to my list of will you please try for the household.
Hey, strong, loyal woman, don't you go away. She said, bye. I'm Sarah. I'm new to your life. How are you doing? Uh, okay. So, I made a Congo bar the next day, and I've never done one before.
Do you know those are my ultimate favorite cookie? The Congo bar, the set, or some people used to call it variation 7 layer cookie. I think there's also a blondie version with butterscotch. They're my absolute favorite. That's why this Malier recipe was so good because I could eat it without any kind of guilt. It was like no sugar and no dairy for me. I mean, not that I don't, because when you see the drink we're going to make in a few minutes, you know this is going to pay me back, but it's worth it.
Well, did you see the Arkansas possum pie I made?
I did. I thought that was great. It was
Well,
really clever.
say the four-layer delight is almost just like it, except for the fact you make everything. It's not an instant pudding. You make the pudding, and you make the whipped cream.
Uh huh.
But
is very similar in the shape, but totally different color. And I think took them off and I put them on a magazine, and we must have put more magazines on top, and then I recycled them because it was a week after shutdown and I never saw them again. So a couple weeks ago, I finally went and bought two more pairs of glasses, and these are my house glasses so that I could see what's going on. But thank you. Yeah, a little different. They're bright, makes my day. All right, let's see.
Hi,
Those are the two.
organizer man.
What's that?
I said, hi, organizer man.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I hope you're enjoying
Increasingly.
this. All right, so I'm going to do one of the other desserts because the one that's going to give me the most finicky will be the Italian sesame cookie. And partially that's because it is the one that's likely to burn me. So I'm going to do that last. Let's do this other dessert. Now, remember, for those of you who joined us early, I mentioned that uh, in the 50s, there was a dessert called bananas Foster. Now, banana Foster is a very different type of dessert. It's actually meant to go on things. This is actually a dessert that's technically really designed to be eaten on its own. You know, you don't have to add anything more. I will tell you from past experience, of course, I'm going to add something to it. You know, I'm going to put this on something. So, first thing you want to do is take a small pan, and I'm doing this in my toaster oven because I have the other things there. Everything is in one pan. You do not need to use any other stuff. Oh, well, we're family. I'm just going to take my butter
Oh, we're
and I'm going to
family.
grease this. Now, you could do spray, I suppose, but you have to grease this. And I guess if I'm already going to use butter later on top of this, I'm just going to grease it with my fingers. Because I have tried and tried and tried, and I still think, even when I do my bundt cakes, which I love a good bundt. Matter of fact, I think I have the bundt store on speed dial when I don't want to make them. They still come out better if I use my hands to grease the pan, just without even a spray. All right, so first thing we're going to do after I've greased this, we're going to take 4 bananas. Now this is called banana brown. What is it called? It is actually called bubbling brown bananas. Talk about throwing myself for a loop trying to say that fast. And it's another one from that recipe book, actually. I had it as a kid. I always thought it was kind of fun. You can make this without alcohol by using rum extract. You can actually add anything you want to it. You don't have to use the alcohol, but for our purposes, guess what? We're going to.
Hi, Laura. Laura says this is her favorite dessert. I've never
Oh, is
had
it?
it or seen it. I've never seen it in my life, but I'm
Yeah, I've
excited
heard.
about it.
I am really surprised at how many people said they had never had a version of this. And there are lots of versions of it. This is just the one we had for the most part. But I was doing some research, and I didn't realize that Bananas Foster came from a restaurant in the 50s. But I think you can. And I thought, is this the same? And then I looked, and there's some distinct differences. And even among aficionados of the original Bananas Foster, you know, some people now add walnuts, some don't. You know, my thing is you go from there. What in this case, you're going to take your bananas. It doesn't really matter, I think, how you slice them, but you want to give them enough so that it's going to give you a bite because they're not going to cook so long that they're going to dissipate and become mush. So I'm thinking about an inch and a quarter. I'll tell you, if you are stuck or you don't have time, you probably could just do this and leave them whole if you want. I think that would be fine too. All right, you're gonna put all your bananas in here.
And one to grow on.
Yep, it's and then so I like. I know a lot of you on here have commented. I like thrift stores, and I love going to the cooking section of thrift stores. And these white ceramic baking dishes. I found two sizes recently, and they have become my all-time favorite. because I use our when it gets hot in San Francisco, sometimes the air doesn't circulate in the old houses as well, and I use these constantly. I like the shape,
Thanks for
and I like how they
explaining.
clean. All right, it's 4 bananas, and it would appear that Food Talk TV has had a put this out of the way since I didn't turn it on. Has had a little bit of a bananas theme going on the last couple of weeks with our banana pudding happening. I did not realize that was one of our new themes, but it seems like everybody likes that. Well, why not add to it? All right, so what are you going to top this with once I get it out of the way?
Brown sugar.
Oh, of course.
And I know you're going to put liquor in it. What is
Well, that
that?
too.
Butter? Is
Orange
that what?
juice.
Orange juice.
Plain old fashioned orange juice. And I will tell you, I've used bottled orange juice, but because because I was zesting orange and lemon peels for the sesame candies. I just squished them myself and strained them. So you're going to use about quarter cup of orange juice. Yeah, this one has some rum too.
What is that?
Rum, dark rum.
Myers?
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
I don't even drink, but I knew that. It's that
And you're
awesome.
just going to put another quarter cup. So you're going to get about half a cup of liquid out of this. Whew, that smells like rum. And
Texas
because
masala.
you add a little bit of vanilla, about a tablespoon, or about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. It's really your flavor.
Hey,
Then you're going to add, yep.
uh, Kaz wants you to tell people about Food Talk TV.
All right. So welcome all you new folks. This is Food Talk TV. We're a collaboration of six different creators from all walks of life, from all of food experiences. Some of us are homemakers, some of us are single, some of us have families, some of us don't. Some of us are professionally trained, some of us aren't. What we all, though, agree on and share is a passion that food should be accessible and people should enjoy the process, feel free that the process is changeable, is interesting, um, is not something that you have to be so rigid. Now, when I say so rigid, when you bake, baking is science. You have to have a little bit more. But the idea is we want people to make food approachable. We come on here every single Sunday night. One of us will share hints, food, recipes, techniques. This week for Mother's Day, we are doing a little extra kick up. Every day at a different time, one of our creators will be coming live and sharing a recipe that is suitable for a Mother's Day brunch, and you'll be able to check that out. We have a website, foodtalktv.com. We have a blog on there where a lot of our recipes are shared. We also have our TikTok account. Andrea, who also handles all of our Instagram and Pinterest. So we're all over the place. You can tag us on Facebook, but ultimately we all come together. And folks that you want to follow who are a part of this collective would be Sherry Skinner, who you see right there in the box. We've got Cooking with Kaz. We have C3, which is Cooking, Comedy, and Chaos, who's Desiree. We also have October Dragonfly has joined us. We have Andrea, Gluten Free Mama, and Cook It Erica, and myself, Frank underscore Mentor SF. And we all take turns. We all
And
try
just
each
like
other's.
Granny. Just like
And
Granny.
just like Granny. Oh, I'm sorry. Ashton, I apologize. Just like Granny. And Ashton is our international partner and brings some great Southern food, but she also is great because she has to adapt them for based on what she's getting in her location. Um, we all come, with different takes. It is great because there are foods that people might think normal or casual or everybody knows how to do it, but then you have a question. So we question each other, we grow on each other, we try each other's foods, and we share them with all of you. That's Food Talk TV.
Hi, Sherry. And Judith, yes, he will post these on FoodTokTV.com. She says he's lost me on the recipe because you started talking in the middle of it. He's just put bananas, a half cup of Myers rum, a half cup of orange juice so far. That's all. Four
That's
bananas.
it. Actually, it's a quarter and a quarter. It's a quarter and a quarter of
Oh,
rum.
it made a half cup. Yeah, a
It
quarter
made a
of a
half
cup.
cup
Yeah.
total, right? And I will have these out. And the reality is, you want to put a little more, you put a little less. You don't want to put too much liquid because you don't want this to be so soupy. You want it to be thick. So now I've got about a quarter cup of brown sugar, and ultimately I am gonna pack that down to a nice pack. I'm gonna put it in here, and then I take a little bit extra, and I just sprinkle it into because I do want some of that crystally flavor on it. I want some crunch. Now you can add nuts to this. You could top this very easily. You can give that a quick whisk. I'm going to add cinnamon. Double check my piece here. About a half a teaspoon of cinnamon to 4 bananas, and then Sherry's favorite spice, nutmeg. Sherry loves nutmeg. Nutmeg is super powerful. I would say just a few swipes. I'll be honest, if you don't put it in, it's not a problem. Do not worry about it.
Uh,
It just
whoa,
gives you a
whoa,
little
whoa,
extra.
whoa. Let's back up. So that you were scraping is nutmeg?
Yes, that's a nutmeg. This is a whole nutmeg.
Get out of here.
Well, you know why though this works really well is because I don't use a lot of nutmeg, and if I buy powdered nutmeg, spices and herbs have an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I want to buy a whole thing of nutmeg when I can buy it like this? It sits in a little baggie.
Hmm.
I can freeze them if I don't use them, and I just take what I want. Because sure, you're not the only one that doesn't really care for nutmeg. I happen to like the heat from nutmeg, like ginger, but it's one of those things where if I have a rasp or a plain, which is what this is called, I can just do it myself, and I can also keep it a little bit under the flavor profile. So if you were going to eat this, you might, what is that flavor? But it's not going to hit you in a way. It's like I don't like tarragon. I hate tarragon. I don't know why. I love licorice. I love anise, but tarragon doesn't appeal to me. So I would switch that out. It's totally a choice thing.
Do not like
Um,
saran wrap. This looks like
which one?
Oh, she said Sherry loves saran wrap. Hey, Michael the baker's here. Hi, Michael the
Hey
baker.
there. I heard that about you. Just I will not. You will not see me use Saran wrap if I can avoid it on camera because inevitably it will be something I will screw up.
I'm just over
All
here
right.
making friends. I'm
Well, you
friending
go ahead.
everybody.
All right. So 4 bananas. We're now going to add cinnamon, nutmeg, a quarter cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of orange juice, a quarter cup of dark rum, and I'm just going to pour it on.
Well, that just sounds yummy, except for the rum.
Well, interestingly enough, the rum really will cook off to some degree, and if you don't like rum, you could use a
I
variety
like
of
the
other.
flavor. I like the flavor. So if it
Well,
cooks
okay,
off, it'll be fine.
now if you if you like the flavor of rum, but you don't want the alcohol of rum, then using the rum extract is actually a really good idea. So rum extract will give you all of the flavor, but none of the alcohol, and the combination. I actually wrote it down in case somebody asked me. The combination replacement is 1 tablespoon of rum equals 1 teaspoon of extract plus 2 teaspoons of water. So it's 3 teaspoons of combined extract and water will equal 1 tablespoon of impact for rum. And
Okay.
it would be a way to make this kid friendly or alcohol friendly.
Is this called brown bubbly bananas?
It is.
Okay. Because somebody
Bubbling
else
brown
did it.
bananas, bubbly brown bananas. You call it anything you want, but that's essentially what they call it. All right.
Oh, it's brown and bubbly. Brown and bubbly bananas.
So then
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
you want the last, because you don't have enough sugar and sweet in here. You're going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter and just add it on top. Remember, I already buttered the bottom of this casserole dish too. So you got butter on the top, you got butter on the bottom. Just adds to it.
He is going to put it on Food Talk TV.
I am, yes.
He's going to put
And
the
it's
recipe on
recording,
there.
I hope. So we will have this, some version of this. You're gonna want to cook this in a oven at 425 degrees. It's going to take about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how hot your oven
Is there
runs.
any? Is there anything like butter in it, or
Yep. In the bottom of it, I have I greased the bottom of the casserole dish with butter, and I just put dollops of about 2 tablespoons of butter right on top.
I missed that part? I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, no, it's a good question because it's easy because you and I chatter when we do this. So the liquid will not come all the way. It's not meant to be completely submerged. The idea is it's just going to get rich. It's going to get the banana flavor. Now one of the things that separates this from Bananas Foster, and talking like this because I'm getting that heat up, is Banana Foster has banana liqueur in it, which was a very popular liqueur during that time. As a matter of fact, if you have any mystery fans and you watch Agatha Christie and Perot, the Belgian investigator, he has an affinity for banana liqueur. It's something you don't see or hear about unless you are into the bar scene, but that is what's generally in Banana Foster. But I'm not using that, and this isn't Bananas Foster, so in you go. That'll go, and I will give that about 10 minutes.
Are you setting timers?
I have the timer on the stove, and I literally just hit 19 minutes, so I know when it says 9 minutes on the stove, this should be almost ready.
Aren't you
But I
smart?
do have an Alexa timer. I have several things cooking, so in my head I'm making my times. All right, let me move this out of the way. How about questions? Anything you've missed? If you just joined us, let me give you a recap. So far, we have made a white cargo drink, which has coffee ice cream, fireball whiskey, and a little bit of rum, and a lot of coffee. And it's a drink that you can make ahead. You can leave it in the refrigerator. It's good for 4 weeks. And it's essentially, looks innocent enough, doesn't it? And it's
Yes.
really good. Now, I suppose you could pour this into another cup of hot chocolate or a cup of coffee as almost like the creamer if you wanted it warm. But for some reason at Christmas, when my mom used to make this, we always had it cold with ice in a big punch bowl. But you leave it in Tupperware. I have Tupperware. It's a Tupperware container that has the screw and the pop cap. Seems to work. So any kind of container like that. I have it right now in a pitcher, but I think it does keep better. You don't get any flavors on it. But it is good, and it's not too strong of any flavor, and that's why I like it. You're not going to have a whiskey flavor. You're not going to. You really just get smooth. And part of me thinks it's like a milkshake, a loose milkshake. Like in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, ooh, if I pureed peanut butter and banana and added to this could get somebody in really a lot of trouble because you'd never know there was alcohol in this. So
Boston Girl,
beware.
I'll tell you what the deal is with Frank. Why he makes you feel relaxed. Because he has that really relaxing voice.
I'm just a big goofball. So, but I really appreciate hearing that. When you're 6 to almost 6'3", and I'm a big guy, you grow up, people see you and make a lot of judgments. Before I went gray, I had a very dark beard or mustache. So people always make a judgment about what I look like or what I'm going to react. And it's always nice to hear somebody say, wow, he's much. much more calm. Little do they know when I'm working.
You have that voice, though. You just have that real nice voice that just puts people at ease. It does me.
I appreciate it. I do, it's funny. I can tell when I do our TikToks and I do my voiceover, my mood, because when I'm in a good mood, it's very calm, it's very mellow. And when I'm Russian, it definitely doesn't have it. All
I'm
right.
the same way. I can tell. I just sometimes I have gone back and redone it because I sound so stressed or
Yep.
something. I'll go back and redo it.
All right. I am going to do my last recipe, which is the one that's going to get me burnt. So if Desiree is watching, you may see me get burnt good today. This is a recipe that I have made. I love sesame candy. So it's a Sicilian recipe. You can buy these prepackaged. I loved them as a kid. I found the recipe for a book club a couple of years ago, and I made them. So to prep for this, the first thing you want to know as I'm heating up my pan, I want my pan to pull up my recipe because I do need my recipes for this. So the first thing you're going to do is you can choose. When we first made this, you couldn't get roasted sesame seeds, so you want to take your sesame seeds and it also uses slivered almonds that you want to give a rough chop, and you want to toast them about 8 minutes in the oven. But I buy sesame seeds already roasted, and I had already roasted my almonds, so I have roasted sesame seeds and roasted almonds that I just gave a really rough chop. That's the nut base. It's going to include both orange and lemon zest, sugar, honey, and then the other thing you want to do when this is done, I'm going to pour this on this counter and flatten it out. That's when I get burnt. And so you're definitely going to want to have some metal spatulas because as you roll it out, you're going to need the metal spatula to flatten it. And then just before it sets, you actually end up cutting it. Traditionally, they would do a little diamond pattern, a diamond pattern. Because I like to wrap these up individually, so I'll pre-cut parchment paper. I usually do rectangles because they fold better, and then I can put them. But if you wanted to use like a lock and lock container or something that's airtight, you can just put parchment in between the layers, and they won't stick. It's a great holiday candy. It's a great fun candy for adults. It is on the sweet side. It can be a little bit hard. There are ways to make it a little bit softer on the teeth, but I like the
Did you
nougat
say that
flavor.
it's? Did you say that it's sesame?
Sesame seeds, yes.
Okay, you're welcome, Sherry. Thanks.
Right. And it's got a little bit of cinnamon in it. That's what I forgot. And my butter. Where did I put my butter?
When you're
There
not
it
in
is.
front of the camera, it looks like I'm in the door of your oven. It looks weird. It just looks like, look.
It does, huh? It took me a long time to get you in the oven, huh?
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So if you don't have a toasted sesame, you can throw these in the oven for about 8 minutes on a sheet pan. Take them out and then get them off the sheet pan so they don't overcook. You don't want them to burn or they'll be awful. Then in a heavy bottomed pan, I'm using a cast iron one, but you want a thick bottom pan on about medium low. Uh, you're going to then put your sugar, honey, and let's see. Yep. So I'm going to throw sugar in there. And the sugar, just for folks who are, and this will be up there too, it's about a cup of sugar. For honey, I'm going to go with it's a lot of honey. And it's about 3 tablespoons of honey. Use a honey that you like. Use a honey that's got a good, robust flavor, but one that you personally like. Not every honey will taste the same. So go with a honey that you are going to enjoy. And that's a full 3 tablespoons plus. I should have sprayed. So one of the techniques, and I don't know why I didn't. Oh, it's probably because it wasn't in front of me. Was to use cooking spray on my um, measuring spoon, and that would have just slipped right out very easily. But I tend not to use any kind of cooking spray on my cast iron pans if I can avoid it, so I put them
No,
away.
never.
All right. So can you all see that? No, it's a
Yes,
little bit harder.
ish.
All right, ish. Here. There you go. Sugar and honey. Medium heat, and I'm just gonna start to stir it occasionally very easily. You can continue to stir this until it starts to liquefy and turn into your syrup. And then you want to be more careful because you don't want to get too much crystallization. I have done this in like Teflon coated pans that were heavier. It works as well. So I'll let that simmer a bit. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter.
Hi, Linda. Frank is so soothing. He could read the phone book, and I'd be here for it.
And I'll tell my staff that tomorrow. All right. So to the cast iron pan, I have honey, butter, and sugar, and an Amazon delivery that must have just told me that has arrived. Alexa likes to tell me those things. All right. I'm going to let this just start to melt. You can hear the sizzle now. You want to go, and this could take up to 5 minutes to get it to where you want it to be. So, don't rush it. I don't know, some of you who have made current caramels, it is definitely one that is ambitious when people are watching because it's also the one I find that I could screw up the easiest.
Linda, this is sesame candy. I don't know
Yep.
what he calls it, but
It,
yeah.
it doesn't, there is an Italian name for it, but I always knew it as sesame candy. So that's about 2 minutes in. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting to get the rest of the sugar now to melt and get me a nice liquid syrup. So to get ready for the next step,
Can you use
all right,
a whisk? She said.
you can, but I'm not sure. I would imagine a professional chef might have a better opinion of that. I don't particularly use it simply because once it starts to melt, it does its own thing, and you really don't want to do a lot of movement because you don't want it to get up on the sides of the pan and crystallize too quickly. If you're using a medium low heat, it'll just keep doing its thing.
Is that a wooden spoon?
Yes, interestingly enough, they tell you wooden spoon. I was going to use my silicone spatula, and it says use a wooden spoon in the recipe. So yes,
Okay.
I am intentionally pouring olive oil on my counter. And this is because when I pull out the caramel, as soon as I take it off the heat, the first thing I'm going to do is pour in the nuts and the citrus. I'm going to stir it really well. Then I'm going to pour it on this olive oil coated counter. And since I have a sealed counter, it's not absorbent. To get it to harden so I can cut it. All right, we're getting there now.
How can you tell when it's ready?
Well, let me show you where it is right now. I want to make the. I'm trying to get this to a deep colored caramel. So right now it's still in a white stage, but it's just beginning to get pale. So I want to get it a little bit browner, and I want it to get more like a caramel than. Um, I want it to almost be clear. So I want to make sure I'm. And when I'm using the spoon, I can tell because when I'm stirring it, I still feel sugar. I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel any graininess from the sugar. And
Okay, so
because you're
I don't know how to pronounce this word. Uh, will this form a tuille or a brittle?
a twill, when because you're adding the lemon and orange peel, which has a bit of oil in it, and the nuts, it will be less of a twill or a brittle and more of a hard nougat. But I think it's a very comparable understanding of it. Yes, and because I don't know which one of these I'm going to use, you have to also make sure that your metal spatula also has a bit of coating on it.
I'm just so concerned about pouring that on a counter.
Yep. Well, what will happen is as soon as it's now, let's see, now it's getting a brown. I can smell the smell differently, and it's starting to get brown. And it's about 5 minutes. I can also smell dinner and bananas. So, folks, if you're trying this and you've never worked with caramel and sugar and heating them together, really, really hot. Also, if you don't have a cast iron pan in your beginning, I love cooking with cast iron. You definitely want to always remember if you're not alone in the kitchen to keep something silicone based on the edge because that cast iron handle also is hot, and I have been known to touch it. All right,
I bet it
now
smells so good, huh?
you see how it's getting browner all of a sudden?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we want to go. So we're almost there. And because you're using a heavy bottom pan, there will be some carryover cooking, so you don't want to go too far. I'm just making sure that I got it all up, that there's nothing on the edges. And then I'm just going to raise the heat a little bit because I want it to come to a final boil. Right now, it's just been at a little bit of a molten. I wanted to just bring it up to a boil before I turn it off.
I hope you guys will come in tomorrow night at 8 Central. Or did I say 7? 8 Central and watch me cook. I'm going to cook tomorrow night right here on this
That's
channel.
right. Sherry, will you text me so I can put that on the calendar on Food Talk TV's event calendar with which time you have?
Okay.
All right. So what I am making a sesame Italian um, candy. It's a Sicilian original version that people have had. So now what I have done is I've just turned off the heat. I'm giving it one more turn to make sure. And now I have a little bit of time. I've just poured in roasted sesame seeds and slivered and chopped almonds and the zest of one whole lemon and one whole orange. And I am just going to hear that sizzle and I'm going to just turn this around. Oh, when that, it's something about that combination works.
Did you add something else to it?
All I added was the nuts and and the um, the zest of the orange and the lemon, and then it's going right on the oil coated counter. Yes, I know. Think of it like adult school activity. Then take your spatula So this is where if you are somebody like me who tends to get into his food, do not touch this. It's not good for you. You're going to burn yourself. And using the back of your spatula, you're going to want to smush this out, shape your edges because you want some clean edges. If because I know Kaz is looking at me going, better make it neat. I want something neat. All right, and this is how I know it's hot. When I'm holding it this way, I can feel the heat generating through the um, through the spatula. And I have fairly hardy hands, but if you notice, it's not sticking. I would say at this point, if I wanted to, I could also take my um, rolling pin, which is why I have it out, and I could very easily um, roll this out if I wanted to go a little bit thinner. I'm not very good measurement wise, so I always check. And I want it to be right around a quarter of an inch, and it's right about there.
I wonder how well that would ship to Arkansas.
It would ship it. I have known it has shipped very well actually. All right.
I mean, I'm asking for a friend.
For a friend, yes, for a friend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a minute or two to harden before I do anything else. So let me just clean my mess up a bit. I'm going to need this, which I'm going to coat. All right. This is my favorite kitchen ruler. Even though it has cork on it, what that means is I always clean it, and then in this case, I'm putting a little olive oil on the metal part because that's what's going to touch this. All right, we have things done. Perfect time.
Oh, the zucchini. Zucchini squares.
Zucchini squares have just come out of the oven. I must have tipped them when I put them in, so they're a little bit crooked, but you'll get the gist.
Um, Somebody
There
asked
is
me, ooh, that looks good.
that is your zucchini. So you notice when I touch it, it's a little bit lofty, but it's not like a quiche. It's got a little bit of jiggle, so I think I might even put it in for another 5 minutes.
Hey, we've got
Yeah,
question. Would you, friends of Florence said, would you ever place it between two oil jelly roll pans to flatten it?
totally would work that way. Would totally work that way. If you want it really thin, that works great. That you can also use. I'll show you what I've
He's
used
gonna put it.
before.
He's gonna put it on Food Talk TV, and
If you
you
have
know
one
we
of
talked.
these,
I do.
would work the exact same way. So this works well, but I love the jelly roll pan. Totally works. Now let's look
This
at
is
our.
sesame candy. This is sesame candy, and he just got zucchini squares out of the oven, and now he's about to get brown bubbly bananas out of the uh, cooking thing there on the counter. Hey, we need to tell about the Food Talk TV after you show your bananas because I want to. Ooh, that look good.
All right. So Food Talk TV is a collaboration of a bunch of TikTokers who came together and really not knowing each other all that well. We came together and we decided we wanted to create a platform where diversity in our food tastes would allow us to create, explore, make food accessible to people. There is, just because you have training as a professional chef, it shouldn't mean that yours is the only way. So we came together. We all share a couple of passions, usually eating. We all have a bunch of specialties. We do a live every Sunday night that you can find us here. We also have a cooking club. You can get all this information on our website, foodtalktv.com. There are 7 of us from all over the country and 1 international. And we are on all the socials. Have fun and find us. All right. This is still not quite as hot, but it is. Like if I put my fingers in it, it'll give. I want it. That's where I want it to be because now normally if I were going to do this, you would do cross hatches, but because I want to wrap these, because I'm going to give them as a gift, I'm going to actually. Now I wanted to do this this is a regular knife. What they actually told me is that the serrated knife is better.
All right,
And
this is sesame candy that he just
sesame,
made.
yep. And so we've just pulled out the bananas dessert, and I'm just going to cut these so that I can make my individual candies without too much drama before they get too hard to cut. And in the in the toaster oven, I have my banana dessert, and just finishing up, I have my um, what we call zucchini squares, which is basically a savory brownie that is perfect for a brunch, perfect to bring to the cafeteria, to the school picnic, a family thing. You can make them the night before, wrap it up, let it cool first, and then it looks like you slaved all morning. And basically, it's a great way to utilize whatever you have left over at your house, or you can buy everything fresh.
He said it's a sealed counter. So they're wondering, does the knife hurt the counter?
No, this is a sealed, and I'm not really. All I'm doing is pushing through the candy. I'm not. You'll see, I'm not necessarily, doing more than as soon as I feel the resistance, I know I'm stopping. If you try and do this on a cutting board, it could stick. All right, let me
Wouldn't if
just
you
put the.
used a plastic one and oiled it? You know,
It may work. You know what? It's one of those recipes I haven't played with. I just use it the same all the time, so I'm not sure. But it comes to temperature so quickly. It just means you have to clean up a little bit. But I'm handling these already, and they're still just a little bit soft. But like I usually will do a clean cut, and then all those clean cuts that are too small, I actually will save and I use them for topping on ice cream or cakes or things like that.
so does it get hard, really hard,
Yes,
or
it will get harder, but not so hard that I think you'll break your teeth. Now, I would imagine if you added some cornstarch, it would give it a little bit softer, more nougaty feel. Um, but I haven't done that.
hi, Deacon?
But this is that one area you're going to want to move a little bit fast because when it cools fast.
Linda, I think he is too.
All right. I have a very food centric dog, so I have to make sure if anything drops, I got to grab it before he does.
Uh, Clyde says, "What is your favorite recipe?"
My all time favorite recipe?
Yep.
Or my all-time favorite recipe is a Trisha Yearwood recipe that actually she credits her husband Garth Brooks, and it's called Cowboy Lasagna. It's on Food Network on her show page, and it's a one-pot tomato sauce with pepperoni and sausage, and I like it so much that some days I don't even make the lasagna. I just use the sauce with all the meat and serve it that way. That is probably one of my favorite. Another favorite, I have it's the one recipe I haven't TikToked or written much about. It's a blueberry coffee cake, and that's because it's the one recipe my mother we had growing up, and that she sort of asked all of us not to share. It's her one sort of trademark recipe. I know where the recipe came from. I actually have the original, but it's the one recipe she's asked us sort of not to put out. So it will go out, but not right now. But those are my two favorite. Otherwise, don't think I have any favorite because I don't ever make any recipe exactly the same every time. It'll depend on what I can find, what's available. Some days, I mean, they laugh at me here, like, "Did you write how you made this today?" I'm like, "No, it's just taste." But chicken parm is a big favorite of mine. Um, oh, and then probably the one that I think I got a lot of interest from was eggs in purgatory. I was really surprised at how many people did not know what that was.
I don't.
That is where you actually take tomato sauce with and simmer it in a pan, and you crack your eggs in it, and you're basically going to coddle or cook the eggs in the tomato sauce. Then the last minute, throw cheese and throw it in the oven. And they used to call it eggs in purgatory. It's just a
Mm,
real popular way to do it. So this is how you would serve this. So if you could put these in a container, or you literally now wrap them up
well, hold a
on your.
piece close to the camera where I can see it.
And this
No,
is
I
how
mean,
you make. I know you. I know where you want. You want the real one. There's your gift. You've just made a sesame candy, and let me find a good one. There you go. That's what it looks like. You
yummo.
see it? That's a little piece of lemon. They've got lemon, cinnamon. I just love it. It's not. It's sweet with the honey and the sugar, but it's not teeth clenchingly sweet. And I love roasted sesame, and it just gives you that nice flavor. And that's it. This is how I make these. I gift them. I make just the and I'll bet you if Christine is on here, they have versions of this commercially that you can still buy. But this is how I make it at home. It's what we grew up with. All right, getting another cutting board.
I'm great. I'm wanting some of that
Which
and
one,
the
the sesame?
bananas. Well, and the bananas. I might
Mm,
even want some of that. I just can't. I don't know. Maybe you got to show me a piece of it first.
which one?
That you're getting out. That's the zucchini squares, y'all.
These are the zucchini squares. Now, normally I would let these cool a little bit more, but because I want to show you, and I'm just checking my time, I think I'm doing good time. So,
Yeah, it's 8:20. Oh well, 6:20 for
so
you.
you would cut these just like, and actually they need to cook a little more. So I'm gonna throw them back in because I can tell they're a little bit gooey inside, and that'll happen sometimes. See, so I'll throw them back in.
Did those rise? He's putting them back in. Um. All right.
They rose a
So
little bit, but not much, because it's just only 1 cup of Jiffy. I mean, of Bisquick. They rise a little, but not nearly as much as if you put a lot of eggs in it, because there's only 4 eggs in it. All right. So I guess that means we could start with dessert, Sherry. I got a special. I have um, a special bowl in honor of Kaz's plating up, because Kaz likes us to plate, so I got a special dessert from the period. Now, this is super hot. Can you see it? Oh, I think I lost Sherry. Hold on. Yeah, I can't do anything till Sherry comes back on because she's waiting. Oh,
do
we were
it.
waiting for you.
Do it.
All right. So Sherry, I don't know if you saw it, but I actually have a Kaz plateable for presentation. And now you're gonna just put your bananas. This 4 banana amount is good for 4 people. Get a little, just a little bit of the syrup, and the syrup will thicken. So you could actually make this and let it sit for a little bit, and it'll get thicker. And then if you happen to have whipped cream, it would be great to put on this. If you happen to be really tacky like me, you're going to use this one today because I do not have Cool Whip and I am not whipping up fresh cream because I can't eat it that much. And then just drizzle it like that. And you have a incredibly good, not relatively difficult dessert, but you could top this over pound cake, could top this over ice cream, and it would be fine either way.
Pound cake, yes.
Pound cake would be great. I gotta find one of my good. I might as well taste it since y'all waiting.
Yeah. Oh man.
So you taste the brown sugar. The bananas are just soft enough that they feel intentionally soft, but they're not. This whole thing does not feel like you're eating a liquid brown sugar. The bananas, I think, just the way they cook out, balance it all really nicely. I hate this. Can you tell? I really hate eating this.
I hate you doing it in front of me.
So let's recap while I'm waiting for the last item. We have our bubbling brown bananas. So simple toaster oven bake of a little bit of dark rum, sugar, um,
Brown sugar, right?
brown sugar, and bananas and butter. And you bake it and you serve it. And this is what it comes out like. Now that you can store this overnight and then reheat it in the microwave if you wanted to, I would say you could put this on anything. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking this would go great in a banana trifle with pound cake and whipped cream layers. Bet you it would
Yeah.
work if you did 8 bananas or more. This is the portion control on this would be 4 bananas equates to be about 4 servings, somewhat in the size I showed you. You put it over ice cream, put it over cake. We also have the white cargo drink. White cargo drink I made tonight is a drink that you can mix up, keep in your refrigerator for several weeks, and it's got coffee ice cream, it's got cinnamon whiskey, a little bit of vanilla, it's got rum, and that's about it. And coffee, strong coffee. Mix it up, keep it in your refrigerator, shake it up before you serve it, pour it on ice, pour it into other ingredients, or just drink it like this. It'll last about 3 weeks, sometimes even up to 4, if it lasts that long, just because of people drinking it. Although, if you are somebody who happens to have kids or folks that don't drink alcohol, it's definitely something you want to mark as alcoholic. Both dishes that have alcohol base in them, you can very easily turn them into non-alcohol base using rum extract and using for every tablespoon of rum, you're going to use 1 teaspoon of rum extract and 2 teaspoons of water. We also did a Sicilian recipe that I grew up with eating as well as buying when I can, which is a almond sesame nougat candy. It's all from scratch, so you can hear the bite. There's a snap to it, but it's not going to be like I'm breaking my teeth. Cools really quickly. You can wrap these up individually or just put paper on them when you store them in an airtight container in layers.
Quit eating my
And our
candy.
I am telling you, I forgot how much I like them because I haven't made them in a while.
Lori's having a cow because you didn't finish the bananas.
I got news for you. I'm going to be finishing it very soon. As a matter of fact, those bananas, there's that white cargo mix and that banana mixture may end up getting combined. Just
I
saying,
was
sometimes,
I was thinking to myself, those could go together, you
you
know.
know, because Sherry, you asked, and Food Talk is all about experimenting. Let's find out.
Let's do.
Oh, it's like takes it up a whole different dimension. But because you have rum in both, they carry over really nicely. And I think if you were to do this and then put this on top of cubes of toasted pound cake, definitely.
See
Oh yeah,
what doesn't go with coffee
nothing.
and
Pretty
bananas.
much everything.
I mean, duh.
And then we have our, um, which unfortunately is being finicky today, and it's a little undercooked still, but I'm going to show you how it looks anyhow. Our zucchini squares. So once these cooled, you'll let them cool in the pan. You're going to cut them just like a brownie because they will literally cut just like a brownie once they're cool. And let's see if I can get one out because they smell so good. They've got a little crust on the bottom, just like a real brownie. And I'll tell you, even as a kid, we would eat these and we had no idea that it had that much vegetables in it. Yeah, they probably need, my stove doesn't always hit temperature right. So I think it needs a little bit more time, but they'll set up and they'll be good to go. So those are the recipes I wanted to share tonight. All of them are adaptable. All of them can go any way you want with your palates, your taste buds, and all of them came. Most of these have come from the 60s and 70s, so none of them are brand new. So what kind of questions do we have? Let me look. I think I just lost Sherry for a minute. I'm looking at my comments because I can see them in front of me. What do y'all think? I love the adaptation of combining them. I think it would work to use the white cargo. I also think the white cargo would be really good if you added more to it. The dessert is definitely going to be a keeper. So let me recap what we are. If you just joined us, Food Talk TV is a collaboration of TikTok creators who have come together to share cooking experiences, recipes. We host a weekly Cooking with Kaz, which is canceled this week because we're doing a Mother's Day promotion. But every Wednesday, we do a cooking club. We come on live every single Sunday night doing this. We have a variety of different dishes. Please go up and check our Food Talk channel up on TikTok. We have a website called FoodTokTV.com. You can find out more of our events. This week we are doing um, let me get Sherry back in here. This week we are actually doing a Mother's Day promotion. Every single night or afternoon, one of us from the collaborating team will be going live to share foods and memories and dishes that are suitable for a Mother's Day event. Tomorrow is Sherry. She will be kicking off our first of our Mother's Day week. Um, and there are going to be ways that you define motherhood or how you want to honor mother, any way you or who that mother may be in your life. We also are on all the socials under Food Talk TV. We have a blog called In the Kitchen, so it's foodtalktv.com/in the kitchen. A lot of the more elaborate recipes that need steps will be up there. We're also trying to start posting recaps of each live that has pointers back to the TikToks of the recipes we've actually done on TikTok, so that you get both a visual and a written. And I'm Frank underscore mentor SF is my private profile. You're welcome to follow me if you like and you like my content. I'm a little bit all over the map. Our other collaborators tend to do more food-centric food, and I'm telling you, they are definitely worth collaborating. So you see Sherry Skinner in the box. We have Cooking with Kaz. We have Cook with Erica. We have Desiree with C3. We have Just Like Granny, who's our international collaborator, Ashton. who often brings us really great Southern inspired dishes. And we have October Dragonfly, as well as Andrea, all of our people. And we bring in new voices, we bring in new folks. If you have a recipe you would like to share, reach out to the website, use the email address associated with it, or reach out to the Food Talk. If you're following us at Food Talk TV, reach out and one of us will return your message. Any other, Sherry, what do you see? Yeah, I love. I just saw that comment. I love doing a lot of these recipes. These all these recipes actually come from a cookbook that my mother's cooking club. Um, they had several names over the years, but this one is the one that I tend to use, obviously, because it's all beat up. And all of these are around 1970. Some are as early as 1960, and some as late as 1980, but depends on because there are four different editions of this. But a lot of my favorite recipes do come from that book, and I do like to share them.
Can I tell them what I'm cooking tomorrow night?
Please tell them.
I'm going to make my rendition of a McGriddle, and I'm going to make chocolate gravy. I'm going to make biscuits. I'm going to make a quiche if I have time. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And I might make sausage gravy. I know I'm making chocolate gravy, and I'm going to teach you how to make. Now, some of the West Coast people have never heard of it. Have you?
I have, yes,
Have you eaten
but I
it?
hadn't up and no, I hadn't, and which is interesting because I only heard about it through TikTok. Prior to that, I hadn't heard about it.
Yes. Well, I've been eating it since I was knee high to a grasshopper, and I accidentally found out how to make it in a microwave. And when my
Oh,
grandkids were visiting me and we were running late for church, so I just figured it out and I went, whoa. So I started making my pies in there. I mean, you live and you learn. So,
and that's exactly how a lot of the recipes that I have. Sherry has been putting out some really cool hacks that she now are part of her repertoire. I grew up with a mom who taught microwave cooking at night part time at the appliance stores. So I have all sorts of recipes that you wouldn't think to use a microwave for. But in the 70s, they were such a new device. But Sherry just did a great recipe where she used and makes pudding in the microwave.
yeah,
So if you're trying to be a real traditionalist, you're going to kind of put your nose up. But, before you do that, we all need a few minutes some days. And if we could
right.
save some time, you got to use the tools that are unintended or intended. And I love that hack because I have done it myself. And so when I saw Sherry start talking about the microwave use, it's always so much fun to say, it's going to save me some time.
Yes. And also, if you think about it, Mr. Frank, what's the date today?
May 1st.
Well, what is in 4 days?
I don't remember. What's
Cinco
it?
de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to be making a couple of things for Cinco de Mayo because I was a Spanish teacher for 31 years.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
here in the Bay Area, that's a big, big day. A lot of the restaurants, and we have a couple of favorite restaurants that we tend to do with the street fair. So I will look forward. And Paul loves Mexican food and Latin food and Hispanic dishes. So we often try to. It's one of those dishes I can cook the regional cuisine. I just tend not to because I like to have one cuisine I can go out for. But I think the chocolate gravy I'm looking forward to the most because I've seen it. I'm looking forward to trying it. Yeah, so all right. Well, people, before you log out, I have a little bit of time. Of course, if you have questions, reach out, post them up. We've got time still. Just a quick recap: Food Talk TV is a collaboration. We have the website foodtalktv.com. We're on Instagram, Pinterest. We even have a Facebook, I think, tag that you can use. Please
YouTube.
share the recipes. YouTube, we still are developing that more. Share the recipes you like. There's a bunch of creators. Go up to our creators list. All of the playlists are also by our creator names. So if you need to know which creator, you can find them as well. Don't be afraid to approach us, ask us questions. Even if you don't like a dish, tell us. It means,
Or can,
not every dish is going to come out to be perfect for everybody. Sometimes I know a reason it might come out. I would have preferred my brownies not be, be cooked. My zucchini brownies be cooked in time, but it's what happens. It's live. We just like sharing time and technique and bringing you what we eat. So that's our recap. Hit a few likes, make sure you follow us, tell your friends. If you are somebody who has a huge passion for the kitchen and food and entertaining, and you have ideas or you've got a great family recipe that's been handed down, send it to us through Food Talk TV or send us a DM and let's talk about it. If it's really good, we'll test it, we'll use it, and then we can maybe have you on as a live or do a blog post talking about it. We love to do those kind of things. We are definitely not creating more gatekeeping. We actually want to open up the conversations. Any final words from anybody or Sherry?
Well, somebody said, "Where am I from?" I'm from Arkansas. I sound like it too. Frank is from San Francisco.
I live in San Francisco, although I have been to Arkansas twice in the last few years prior to COVID for work, and I had some of my best food there and
And I've
experiences
been to
there.
San Francisco. I started to school in California, as a matter of fact.
See?
Torrance.
We actually have people in North Carolina, Texas, Philadelphia, Arkansas, San Francisco, and we have one international member as well as I'm
Texas.
not sure Texas.
Texas.
Where Texas, and then I'm not sure what state Christine is in. October Dragonfly.
I think she's in like Pencil, Philadelphia. I don't know.
So we
You
try.
tell
We
us,
actually have
Kaz.
a we actually have a good grasp of all of our regional foods, and we all share recipes. We steal recipes that we adapt. But you'll always find if we borrow a recipe from another creator, we'll tell you where we got the recipe from. If I
If we
take an
remember,
act,
if we remember.
if we remember, anytime I adapt a recipe from a professional chef or a food person on television, like the Molly Yeh recipe, I will tell you what the original came from and then how I've changed it to my tastes. I think that's important. They adapted it, they created it. I don't want to feel like we're copying. We just may change it to our tastes. But with that, I'm going to say, I hope everybody had fun and that you enjoyed this. And please join us tomorrow night with Sherry as we kick off our Mother's Day treats and dishes suitable for brunch, or visit us on Sunday again. But the foodtalktv.com/in the kitchen, there's a blog post. There's also an events page. And as soon as I get everybody's times, I'll be adding them so you'll know what
I
time
got to
our
tell you why
TikToks are
I'm
going.
laughing.
Why?
Kaz said, "I created all recipes, so tag me in everything." Does that sound like Kaz?
It does. It does.
Have
But
we
he
been
recruit he
mentioning him when we
yes,
tell all the creators? Okay,
I think
because I
so.
don't want.
Cooking with Kaz, I think I did. And Cooking with Kaz and C3 are the founders of Food Talk TV. They're also the cooking club hosts.
And
And
Frank and I
Kaz,
are the stars. We're the stars.
there we go.
Yeah.
We Sherry and I just eat and we cook and we say can't do it that way. Mm. And some days we create catastrophes together, which are really good or not, and that's what we like. And we also, I think for both of us, we have working families um, that are extended beyond our household. So we cook for others a lot. Some of our food has got to be packageable. It's got to be adaptable. And I think Cook and Erica also cooks with a real finesse with the food she does. And if you have not checked out C3, Desiree is just
A whole
controlled
mess.
chaos, but it is funny, and she keeps you so engaged with the recipes. And I love it when she makes one and she's not sure how it's going to go and she likes it, and then so it, she merges all of our personalities in such a great way. And Andrea and Christine with Dragon October Dragonfly, and then of course our classic creator is Kaz with his just quiet focused demeanor with the classic recipes that just kind of navigate all of our madness. And
You
so
know
when you
what
put us
that, you
together,
know, you saying that, what that means to me? That
what's
you
that?
did not see his last TikTok.
I don't know. I have to look. Tend to not watch a lot of TikToks the day I'm preparing to go live because my head is trying to figure out all of this. Well, everybody, I want to thank you. We're getting close to time. I hope you enjoyed this. Tell your friends. We have been around a minute, and we're going to continue to do these. We try and post recipes every single day in addition to these lives, and we just love to duet us, stitch us, do whatever you need to do to keep the voice going.
And come see me tomorrow night, right here on this
Tomorrow
channel.
night, what
I'll
time
be
again,
on whenever
Sherry?
it is. I'm going to go live at, I wanted to go at 7, but that's too early to catch the West Coast people. So I think I'll go at 8 and cook till 10
Okay,
ish.
and drop text me and I'll put it up on the website. Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Good night. Thank y'all.
Thank you.